socks. There you go. Pins. Yeah, that's it. Keep it up. Yeah, baby. How about one of these .NET Gurus Can't Cook Apron? You want one of these? There you go. There's some socks for you. Yeah, baby. All right, here you go. We got some stickers. All right, that's great. Yeah, baby, that's good. All right, well, welcome to It's All About the Tools by RussCam. And today I've got my lovely guest here, Karen. Karen, you want to say hello to everybody, a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you today for 2013 IT Palooza. We hope to see you back next year. I'm happy to be back on board.
Yeah, I'm RussCam.
With you on RussCam.
And Karen, could you say your full name for everybody?
Okay, Karen Correspondent is how you can search for me online, and Karen Slosaski is my name, Slosaski.
Okay, great. So let's go ahead and sit down here, and we're going to get going here. So what I'm going to start out with is doing a session on building a book app for the Windows 8 store. How many people here have actually kicked the tires with Windows 8 store development? Show of hands. Anybody out here? Okay, so one reason these guys have, I know that, so one reason for doing it is maybe making some money, right? Build yourself an app. You only need one big hit out there. And a lot of times folks are building apps about books, right? They have a good book or a set of books they want to put up there. I'm going to show you how to build that type of app. As I mentioned, I head up Component One's developer evangelism team. I'm a former Microsoft developer evangelist, a Windows 8 key influencer, and the Night of Lifetime Award winner, as well as MVP in client dev. So let's go ahead and start in on this session with a single XAML code base across all the Component One controls. Component One has a great variety of XAML controls for not only Windows 8 apps, but also Windows Phone apps, Silverlight, and WPF. And by sharing the same code base, this facilitates you to build apps across these different platforms using the same API calls, which is a beautiful thing. So you could create a view model and share the code across between Windows Phone, let's say, and Windows 8 development. So very, very useful. If you download the Studio for WinRT, download the demo controller app. It's all part of the download. It's in your samples directory. And let's go ahead and take a peek at that. You get all the source code, by the way, I'm showing you here when you download the sample. The book control is the one we're going to focus on in this session. We also have our tried and true data grids, Flex Grid. So let's go ahead and bring up the Flex Grid control, and you'll see that you've got all these great things that you'd expect to see in a grid, being able to resize. You can also do sorting by column. You can go ahead and, page by. You can run all these different types of formatting, custom cells, sorting, filtering, grouping, all that sort of thing. Anybody working with imaging, really killer imaging control if you want to build animated GIFs, or if you want to even pinpoint an image with 1 pixel, say 25,12, you can do that with 1 line of code to do some serious kind of image editing applications. Data visualization, very, very big. So a lot of different kinds of charts, radar, animations, interactive zoom. That's pretty cool, huh, Karen? And also, you know what? It's touchscreen enabled. So I can go, all the controls are touchscreen enabled. Yeah, go ahead. Mess me up there. So we got the menu control as well. We've got a PDF viewer, zip libraries as well to handle zip files. And here you can see if you want to do a menu control, you have that. You do vertical control. So anyway, that gives you kind of a sample. You can go ahead and take a look at those and see for yourself. So about a year ago, when I first started looking at Windows 8 app development, I downloaded the Cookbook Cookbook. Anybody here try the Cookbook Cookbook Lab by any chance? Okay, James over here did. I know that. That was probably before you joined Microsoft, right? Or just about the same time almost?
Same time, getting prepared.
And that's it. So it's a good lab exercise to walk through. And here is the app. So here you have a really good view of all the recipes in the book. You scroll across, and that's kind of nice. Then you get into the main course here, and then Oh,
Let's
I
see.
want to look at the next recipe.
I want to look at your recipe.
Well, you see,
I know
now
you have
I
one.
can't just like flip through them at this level, right? I have to go back up one and then drill down again, you know? Or if I bring up the main course menus. So the point here is that you have to drill down, bump back up. Now, if I were to hand you a book, Karen, what's the first thing you do when you go to a bookstore? You look at what? Cover, and then the back, right, is the first thing. And then what do?
Flip through it really quick.
That's it.
Is
You
it
start flipping
interesting?
through
Then
the pages, right?
And leave it.
So I decided I'm gonna change this application, right? I'm gonna get rid of this, and I'm gonna go ahead and build an app that looks something like this. So here it is, right? So there's the first two things you looked at, right? Which was the front cover, the back cover. And then I'm going to go just start flipping through the pages, right? So this is how I built this app. I'll show you that next. But there it is, and I can double click, and now I've got zoomed in. I can really read it, you know, pretty nice. And not only that, I can bring up an app bar menu, right? And there's a nice colorful app bar menu, and this will get me right to my chapter I want to go to. We've got other controls. This one here will pop you out to our website for component one. It'll bring up the browser and start showing you that. And it's a lot simpler to build this app than the one I had showed you, as a matter of fact, because I just start with a plain old template in Windows 8, and that's the one I go ahead and use. And here it is. Here's the component one site that comes up with that. On that other app, there is also a link, of course, to the documentation that we have, feedback, and rating. And so let's take a look at the code that built this app. So the very first thing I did is I had a PDF file, and in the PDF file, I had the entire book. And a lot of times when you're, you know, working with books, you get the whole electronic file as a PDF. So you could just point that PDF file to the book on the item source property, and it'll automatically load the whole book in. Problem is, this cookbook's got 120 pages, and I timed it. It took 20 to 25 seconds to do that load. So I didn't really like the performance. It's good if you got just a few pages, maybe a brochure or something like that, go ahead and slap it in. So I learned in Adobe Acrobat that you can take a PDF file and splice out every page as an image. And that's what I did. I saved them all as JPEGs, and I put them into my folder for all of my images, and there they are all. I got one for each page in the book. Then, well, let's take a look at the actual page, the XAML page. So we'll bring this up, and this is pretty much straight from the documentation that we have as far as the book goes, and it's right down here. And in this page, what you'll see here is I've got the cookbook control. I'm calling it My Book. And then you have the templates here. And the templates have the left page template, and then I've got the right page template. And down below is where I'll do my data binding. And here I'm going to pull in the cookbook image for each one of those pages. And that's about maybe, you know, I don't know, 20 lines of XAML or so. And then if you take a look at the code, and in the code, what we see is the logic to go ahead and read in that information. So this is the first subroutine that's going to be called, initial estimated data source. I'm going to go ahead and read in an XML file. The XML file I have sitting right here, Cookbook XML. It's right in my application itself. So let's go ahead and show you that. Very simple. I just have attributes of each one of the pages, page number, ID, and the image, right? So then once I have that information, I can go back over here, just go through a simple loop, and read this information in, and then take out each one of the fields, the big one being the image, and then just bind it to my source. That's really the bulk of the application. I mean, that's not too bad. You had what? Like I said, 20 lines of XAML, a few lines of code here to load in your book, and you're done. So that part, pretty cool, right? So far, so good?
So good.
Pretty good stuff.
We like it.
All right. Don't be afraid to applaud, right? We had a good film crew here going. All right. The next part was bringing up the controls on that particular page. And what we'll see here I brought in the tile control. And the tile control is pretty straightforward as well. Tile control makes your app look like a Windows 8 app desktop. So if you have that need to bring in a tile, you can do flips, animations, all that kind of stuff as well. Very simple. You just set your data template. You have your imaging property, and there's our, in this case, that was the one we set for the tools, right, to go out to the website. And then on the click event, if I bring up the click event, say for main course, very simple. All I'm doing is setting the current page to that spot in the book, and it hops right to that spot in the book like you saw me do. And a couple of the other ones that we looked at, one of them was going out and bringing up a external web browser. And so, for example, the on rate is going to go ahead and bring up the launch the browser, and we're going to go ahead and do a review, right, to rate it. And this is your family name. I think it was the project family name. Let's take a look at it. It's in the app manifest under packaging, and it's the, it's the package family name, and you just copy and paste this last line into that line of code there. Some of the controls that I used to build this app were the book control, the image control I brought in for the images, the tiles, the PDF library, and grid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the author index that's on there to bring up a grid of all the author information and page information and link right to it. And then the PDF library will be used to help print the book. So really the entire app is built pretty much out of C1 controls, and you got yourself a pretty quick way to build a book application in Windows Store. How about that? Pretty good?
Yeah.
All right.
Good. Woo! So that's your recipe for building a recipe book?
Yeah, it's a recipe for building a recipe book. Yes, very good.
C1.
So here's my contact information, RussCam TVs, the Twitter, please follow it. Also C1 XAML for any of our XAML controls. We have that out there as well. What a show! Stay tuned for lots more down the road.